everyone. Welcome to another Field Trip Friday. My name's Steve.
And I'm Peregrine.
Where are we going today, Peregrine?
Oh, we are going to the Duke Lemur Center.
Absolutely. If it wasn't obvious, we're here standing at the Duke Lemur Center. We're also going to visit a part of the Duke Lemur Center called the Division of Fossil Primates, and so we'll get to connect both the history and the current status of lemurs and other primates in the world.
Sounds great. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey friends, my name's Peregrine. I do programs online and in person for the lab, and I'm really excited to be a guest host for this episode of Field Trip Fridays because my background is in a branch of science called evolutionary anthropology. That's the study of how we, humans, became how we are. So there's one branch of it that looks at the fossil history of ancient humans and ancient human ancestors and relatives. There's another branch that involves looking for clues in modern populations of humans and in other groups of primates, which is the family to which humans belong, along with other apes and monkeys and prosimians, including lemurs. Let's go check it out.
So, Matt, can you tell us who you are and where we are and what happens here?
Sure. So my name is Matt Bortz, and I'm the curator of fossils at the Duke Lemur Center. And so we are standing at what is called the Division of Fossil Primates at the Duke Lemur Center. And what we are is a fossil collection that is all related to basically the story of primates. Primates are the group of animals that lemurs belong to, and is also the group of animals that we belong to as humans. And so it's a really important story that we want to tell, to figure out where did this group of animals come from. And so the Lemur Center was started as a place that studied just lemurs and what the behavior of those animals can tell us about, like, just how they behave, and just like about those animals themselves. There was a paleontologist who then became part of the Lemur Center, and that paleontologist is someone who studies fossils and kind of the story of where animals come from. He wanted to use lemurs, which have a lot of features that are shared with some of the earliest primates we find in the fossil record, to understand the biology of these very ancient creatures. And so he wanted to combine the living animals of the Lemur Center with the fossil record of primates that he was discovering as a paleontologist. So started this collection to kind of help the modern record, so like modern animals, tell us about extinct animals. And that's really a big part of what it means to be a paleontologist. I'm a paleontologist, so there are some paleontologists that study dinosaurs, and some paleontologists study trilobites, and some that study sharks. I'm someone who studies mammals. I study primates, I also study meat-eating mammals, and kind of everything that happened after the extinction of the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. And so that story is something that primates were along for that entire ride. And as a paleontologist, I am as interested in studying modern animals as I am extinct animals, because the modern animals tell us about kind of putting the flesh on the bones of these creatures that we find. And so here we have the bones of lots of different creatures that have been discovered all over the world, and I have the privilege of being part of collaborative teams that go out and look for these specimens, bring them back here to the Division of Fossil Primates, where we have a research collection that researchers from around the world can come, and just like someone can check out a library book, they can check out a fossil that they come and visit on our shelves here. And just like modern libraries aren't just something you can do by going to a library, we also have a digital version of all of this, where you can go look up specimens online, and there are researchers who can study the information that we publish about all of these animals, and we also have digital models of a lot of these fossils that are available online. So researchers could study the origins of primates from all over the world that are coming from this collection right here in Europe.
So we're someplace different. Hi there.
Hello, I'm Carrie Whitman, and I am the fossil preparator here at the fossil collection at the Duke Lemur Center, but I also wear a lot of other hats. So first of all, a fossil preparator is somebody who gets the fossils out of the rocks. The rocks are big chunks. Usually when we go to collect fossils from the field, we'll pick up the fossils in the rock that's around them to keep them safe, to bring them back to a place where they're going to be studied. But somebody has to get all of the rock around the fossil away and not break the fossil, and glue pieces back together if needed. But I also, part of the reason that I'm the fossil preparator here specifically is because I have an interest in Madagascar. I also did a master's of environmental studies where I went to Madagascar. I've been there for like a cumulative total of 1.5 years staying there. Wow. And talking with rice farmers in Madagascar about their about their lives and about how they balance conservation of the forests with land use to grow rice to feed their families. So, being a fossil preparator and being somebody who does research in Madagascar come together really nicely for me to be the fossil preparator at the Duke Lemur Center.
So in your fossil preparation as a fossil preparator, you have to, as you mentioned, separate those bones from the rock, which
Yeah.
I guess they're all rock at this point, right? It's just different parts of the rock, and you have to kind of separate that.
Yeah.
Can you show us a little bit about how you do that?
Sure, I can show you guys, and we'll go back into my prep lab.
Cool.
So this is a skull of Smilodectes, which is one of the early primates that we find in Wyoming that is very similar to what some lemurs look like today. And it was found teeth side up. So when the rain washes a lot of sediment down the mountainside in Wyoming, it uncovers the fossils in the rock below, but sometimes the mud can sort of mess up the fossils a little bit, so we have lots of pieces that I needed to put back together. But also, this whole skull, except for the surface here, and this jaw that was laying on the side, it was all in rock like this. It's really hard. And all of these scratch marks are where I had to use my tiny little jackhammer to blow away parts of the rock to free the fossil. So it took a very long time to delicately blow rock away from all of these parts of this fossil without breaking it more. And that is a lot of what I do in my job as a preparator, is I free rocks from the fossil and then I can put them back together. So this jaw still has a connection point, and so we can see the full skull and the full jaw, which is really cool and like pretty rare in paleontology to find a skull that's really nice like this.
So believe it or not, we're still right here in North Carolina. We're in the middle of Durham. So we're at the Duke Lemur Center, and my name is Megan McGrath, and I'm the Education Programs Manager here. And the most fun part of that job means I get to introduce people to the lemurs, like the ones behind us right now. So we are actually in one of our natural habitat enclosures. So we're surrounded by forest. We're in over 3 acres of forest right now, but we actually have 9 different forested habitats spread across the 100 acres of the Duke Lemur Center. And right behind us, we have one of my favorite groups right now this year. So right here, we have Lupicina, or Loopy, as she's affectionately known. That's Mom. And then right over here, we have her son Felix, who is actually one of our first infants born this year, and he is approaching the 6-month mark, if I'm not mistaken. So he's already pretty big and pretty agile, and I know we're going to get some great footage of him today, and he's doing really great with leaping and hopping through the trees and kind of learning how to be a grown-up shafak out here in the forest.
Yeah, I saw him do this really cool maneuver where he jumped from a tree and then onto his mom's back, and then she continued jumping with him on her back. It was just like so amazing. I was like, can you imagine like jumping and or holding on? Like both of those things were just amazing.
That's one of the most fascinating things about most of the lemurs. And actually we have a great compare contrast right here. The species we have in this forest, we have cockerel shafak behind us. And then we also have red ruff lemurs that we're going to meet a little bit too. And they really do a great job of showing the wide diversity of lemurs. So with Felix, we're going to see him hopping onto Mom, grabbing onto her back, using that really strong grip with his hands and feet to cling while she's moving around. He is getting big enough to hop on and off. And he's probably getting to the point where Loopy's going to start kicking him off soon, basically saying like, all right, you're big enough, like you can do this on your own, especially as it gets hot out. That's understandable for Mom to do that.
Right.
Hi there, Brittany. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do here at the Lemur Center?
Yeah, absolutely. So as a primary caretaker out here, I'm responsible for feeding these guys, cleaning up after these guys, making sure they're healthy, happy, and enriched every day. So that means they're mentally stimulated. As well as we have a training program just to help us do certain behaviors with them voluntarily. So, and it's also enriching for them to be able to be trained.
Yeah, this is so cool. And so these are red ruff lemurs, right?
Yeah, so this is one of our groups of red ruff lemurs. We have two sisters right here, May and Judith, and then Afu is the male. He was introduced, I think last fall, and they are part of a breeding program. So Afu, the male, will breed one of the two females during breeding season, which will be like end of December, January, February, and of course that's according to the species survival plan. So they were matched basically due to best genetics. So hopefully they'll be successful, and then next year this time we will have more babies like Felix. But first,
absolutely, that's so cool. Yeah, we've talked a little bit on this show about species survival plans before with red wolves, and it's so cool to be able to talk about it again in the context of another species. I mean, I say so cool, but it's really kind of a hard situation, right? Because we're using these plans to try and give some biological diversity that doesn't exist in the wild or is hard to maintain currently in the wild. So yeah, that's really cool, and that's part of why the center exists at all, right? Is to be a part of that kind of biological or genetic diversity, I guess, outside of the wild.
Kind of a genetic safety net, if you will. But
right, yeah, that was a cool term that Matt had used earlier. Yeah, genetic safety net. Yeah, that's cool.
This has been so incredible. I'm wondering if you might tell us something that we should know about the Duke Lemur Center.
Absolutely. Of course, I can pull from a million different things, but I think the main thing I want people to understand is just the vast amount of work that goes into the Duke Lemur Center and the supporting of our mission. So zoos are wonderful places, museums are wonderful places, but typically they focus in a specific area, or maybe they branch into another area a little bit. So a zoo might also support some research projects, and lots of zoos and museums support conservation efforts in the wild. The unique thing about the Duke Lemur Center is that all under one umbrella, based here in North Carolina, we have a non-invasive research program. We've been here for over 55 years, so that means we're not harming any of the lemurs. Nothing gets more invasive than a routine vet exam for these guys with research. And often research takes the form of something really simple, like they do what they want to do in the forest, and we just watch and write it down on a clipboard. Lots of observational research. In addition to that, we also have a conservation program that we've been doing in Madagascar on the ground for over 35 years. We have Malagasy employees who are helping us with our mission, and we're doing lots of community-based conservation where lemurs are from to help impact the situation in Madagascar. And then we also have our educational program, which is the most recent addition just in the last 15 years or so. And that, of course, included on-site tours for a number of years. And then when we had to shut down due to the pandemic, we then added on a whole slew of virtual programs, as you're very familiar with. We all got very good at video editing very quick. And so having all of that under one hub is a dream for an educator, because I don't have to talk about it in an abstract way or in a way that someone else is doing great work that we're supporting. I can talk about how my coworker who works in the next office is doing it. And if I want to learn about a research project about lemurs, I can walk just across the way and talk to a researcher who's currently studying them and currently finding out results. So it's really exciting to know that all of that is happening all right here at the Duke Lemur Center.
That is incredible.
So Megan, this has been such an incredible trip. Thank you for having us here at the Duke Lemur Center. How do people learn more and connect with y'all? And can they visit, or what's going on?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for visiting. We're so excited to show you everything we're doing here. People can absolutely visit us from near and far. So we are open for tours this summer. Finally, we're so excited to have people out. I will note that you do have to make a reservation online in order to visit, since we are an active non-invasive research facility, so it's not quite like visiting a museum or a zoo, but we'd love to have people out. We also are now offering our entire virtual tour, which is 75 minutes worth of videos all about the lemurs and the work we do here, absolutely free on our website for anyone anywhere in the world. And we've got lots of other great virtual programs, including a virtual summer camp with people signed up from all over North America. So it's a really great time to get involved at the Lemur Center, whether you live here or you're a little further away.
That's so awesome. Thank you again so much for having us. This has been wonderful. How about you, Peregrine?
It has been amazing. This is a dream come true for me. So thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for caring about lemurs.
Absolutely. We will see you in the live Q&A, where we'll get to ask cool questions about the Duke Lemur Center, lemurs, and primate history and paleontology, anything you'd like. Keep those questions ready. We'll see you in the live Q&A. Thanks for joining us.